The Time Variance Authority TVA detained the mischievous god Loki in the show's first season when he used the Tesseract to escape his timeline. He was supposed to be pruned because the TVA used to do so to varieties who would veer off the path they were intended to take. But Loki was hired as the main detective's assistant to discover out who was killing TVA agents. Thanks to Mobius's benevolence, it turned out to be a variant of Loki, i.e. Sylvie. Loki and Sylvie unearthed the lies around the TVA and how the employees in the organization were variants who were picked up from their timelines and their memories were erased to serve a godlike individual sitting at the end of time. Loki and Sylvie were offered a choice by He Who Remains. Kill him and trigger the arrival of all of his variants, or take control of the TVA and maintain the sacred timeline. Given how Sylvie was motivated by revenge against a practice of pruning timelines, she killed He Who Remains and sent Loki to a timeline where nobody remembered him, not even Mobius and Hunter B-15. The first episode of Loki Season 2 opens with an elaborate chase sequence as Mobius and the TVA tried to arrest Lophis and, more worse, prune him. After crashing into the control tower, Loki realizes that he is slipping through time, as in his body is teleporting between the past, the present, and the future. But the teleporting is limited to the TVA. He isn't getting transported somewhere outside the TVA, he just keeps showing up at different points in time at the TVA. So Mobius and Hunter B-15 didn't remember him because he showed up in a time period when they hadn't met Loki yet. However, when Loki time slips into the present, he meets the versions of Casey, Mobius, Hunter B-15, etc., who do remember him talking about Mobius, Hunter B-15, and pretty much the rest of the TVA. They are all still comprehending the fact that they've been fed with lies about the gods they are serving and that they had lives on their very own timelines. A well-known TVA hunter named X5 alerts Mobius and B-15 to the fact that they must attend a meeting with General Dox and Judge Gamble, who are standing in for Renslayer, who was last seen leaving with Miss Minutes through a time door. Loki continues to alternate between the past and the present as they make their way to the war room. Fortunately, this enables him to learn more about the connection between He Who Remains and Renslayer, as well as the hidden He Who Remains mural that has been obscured by a mural of the Timekeepers. At the war room meeting, Judge Gamble kind of sides with B-15's pleas to stop pruning timelines, because in doing so they are essentially committing genocide. General Dox, who is a bit of a hardliner, is against that notion because the only thing she has known all her life is pruning branching timelines and variants. As soon as she learns that Sylvie is the one who killed He Who Remains and destabilized the whole universe, she tells X5 to prepare a team that will find the Loki variant. Loki informs Mobius of all that transpired in the Citadel at the end of time, as well as the fact that there are countless Kang versions who are vying for the vacant throne left by the passing of He Who Remains. Additionally, he makes an attempt to explain how the memories of every TVA employee were deleted. They never recall doing work for He Who Remains because of this. Just to be clear, Loki arrived in a time when He Who Remains made a public announcement about his involvement within management of the TVA when Sylvie kicked him through the time door. As a result, he has a huge statue of himself and several murals all throughout the TVA. But somewhere down the line, he gave the keys to Renslayer, propped up the Timekeepers, covered up any evidence of his existence, and became a recluse in his citadel. Why? I don't exactly know. Maybe he didn't like the attention anymore. Returning to the dynamic duo, Mobius counsels Loki to address his time-slipping issues before tackling the bigger picture, since if he keeps vanishing, he won't be able to assist. Arrow Burrows, better known as OB, steps in at this point because Mobius believes he is the only person who can help because OB wrote the TVA manual. Loki frequently switches between the past and present iterations of OB as they work things out, and whenever the earlier iteration picks up new information, the latter iteration is immediately updated. After much deliberation, OB decides that Mobius must employ a temporal or extractor and connect it to the time loom in the present, in the past, or the future. Loki has to prune himself, thereby freeing himself from time itself, because we know that pruning doesn't